Morning light rose slowly over the small apartment building where Amira lived with her mother. It wasn't the kind of sunrise that danced across the sky with joy. No, this sunrise was a quiet heaviness, the kind that whispers, "Here comes another long day." Inside their tiny kitchen, the refrigerator hummed like it was too tired to sing. On the door hung a picture of Amira in kindergarten, all bright eyes and toothy smiles, the kind of joy that comes easily back then. But now, the same little girl sat at the table, staring into a bowl of cereal that had already gone soggy. Her shoulders slumped, her eyes dimmed, like everyone had turned down the light inside of her. Across from her, her mother, exhausted but trying, sipped her morning coffee. She looked at Amira, but sometimes love is too tired. You miss the hurt sitting right in front of you. And just like that, time was up. Shoes were thrown on, backpacks grabbed, a quick kiss on the forehead, and mother and daughter ran out the door. Life tugged them forward. The sidewalk was still cold as they walked toward the bus stop. Amira dragged her backpack, hoping, just hoping, her mother would notice her sadness. But Mama's phone buzzed again, work calling early, and with an apologetic glance, she stepped aside to answer. Sometimes the people who love you the most are too overwhelmed to see your pain. The school bus hissed to a stop. Amira climbed aboard with her head low. Her mother waved, a tired, hopeful wave. The school hallways were loud. The classrooms were full, but Amira felt invisible. Sometimes loneliness isn't the absence of people, it's the absence of being seen. In the cafeteria, laughter filled the air. Groups formed with their little islands, and Amira sat alone. Whispers floated through the room, the kind that sting even when you can't hear the words. But some
Nobody wants to
wounds
sit with
bruise
her.
the heart more than the body. After school, kids ran ahead in groups, backpacks bouncing, and Amira's trailed behind, slow, quiet, and broken. That evening, she wrote in her notebook. The words trembled out her mouth. God, are you mad at me? Because everyone else seems to be. A tear fell on the page, and heaven leaned in. The next day, someone finally saw her. Mrs. Daniels, with eyes full of compassion, welcomed her into her small office painted with colorful hope. As Amira sat quietly, a glow began to surround her, warm, gentle, holy. The office faded, the world blurred, and suddenly she wasn't in school anymore. She was standing in a world where hope had skin and walked among the hurting. Dust swirled around her feet. People pressed in from every direction, and they were whispering a single name, the name that awakens every impossible place: Jesus. She saw a fragile woman drag herself through the crowd, trembling, desperate. Her fingers brushed the edge of Jesus' robe, and life surged into her body like life breaking through darkness. Hope returned, and so did Amira's. A messenger burst through the crowd, pale, shaking. His words felt heavy. Your daughter's gone. But Jesus kept talking because death never stops the one who is life. Inside the house, sorrow hung thick like fog. A mother collapsed into her husband's arms. Mourners wailed. Pain echoed from wall to wall. But Jesus stepped inside, like light stepping into a room full of shadows. Why are you crying? Jesus said. The child is not dead, but asleep. They laughed, a bitter, hopeless laugh. But faith doesn't need agreement, it just needs Jesus. He knelt beside the still child. He took her cold hand, and with the power that holds eternity, he spoke the words that shook heaven and earth. Life returned, breath returned, hope returned. What was still stood. And in that miracle moment, Amira heard him whisper to her, You see, Amira, I see you too. The glow disappeared, and she was back in Mrs. Daniels' office, sunlight warming her face. Amira sat up straighter, lighter, awake inside. Mrs. Daniels walked her down the hallway, humming softly, and Amira reached out and slipped her hands into hers, because healing often begins with one safe hand. At lunch, everyone looked the same, but Amira wasn't. She opened her lunch and smiled. A girl approached. "Can I sit with you?" Amira's spirit glowed. She said, "Yes, I'd like that." Later, the wind danced through her curls as she jumped rope, laughing, alive, and restored. And deep in her spirit, she heard him again. "Little girl, arise." At the end of the day, wrapped in Mrs. Daniels' arms, bathed in golden sunlight, Amira finally knew the truth. She is seen, she is loved, and she is never alone, because the same Jesus who called Jairus' daughter back to life was calling her heart too. When life tells you you're invisible, Jesus calls your name. When others walk away, he reaches out his hand. And when your heart feels too tired to continue, his love whispers, "Arise."